Hey everyone, it's Kelly from Erudition, and the purpose of this video is to give you an overview of how to use our course to study for your PAT. First things first, before we even get into the course, we actually recommend that you start studying for the PAT questions early, at least a month before you start studying for the rest of your exam. This will help by eliminating that extra stress of learning how to do these very new perceptual ability problems at the same time that you're also trying to review and study everything else on the exam. Our monthly subscription and our 3-month access option both make it really easy to take the time you need to do this. Once you've picked a study schedule that works for you, you can start using our question banks and taking our full-length tests and learning how to master these PAT problems. This graphic down here on our homepage lets you track your progress through all of these assessments. The green indicates assessments that you completed at least once, and the yellow indicates assessments that you've started but haven't finished. These are our question banks. We have 3 for every single problem type on the PAT. We set up our question banks to help you learn systematically, starting with level 1 and progressing to level 2 and then level 3. For instance, if we go and look at the top front end question banks, as you can see, level 1 starts with relatively simple objects. This makes it easy for you to learn the basics of these problems and how they work without getting overwhelmed. Once you've gone through and studied the level 1 problems, you should be perfectly ready to handle the level 2 problems. Level 2s are just a little more complex, a little more challenging, and similar to the medium or higher difficulty problems that you'll see on your exam. And then we've designed the problems in our level 3 question banks to represent the very hardest problems that you're ever going to find on your DAT. On the real DAT, you probably will only have a few problems that are actually this hard. But if you learn how to solve level 3 problems really well, this will make most of the other problems on your DAT seem fairly easy. And then when you do come across a really hard problem on your exam, you'll feel prepared and confident. As you work through our question banks, it's really going to be the explanations that help you the most. They are what teach you how to visualize things better and learn all of the strategies you'll need to master each of these kinds of problems. So you'll always want to look down and study these explanations as you're going through the question banks. Let me take you through our explanations for each of the different types of problems. All of our keyhole, top front end, and pattern folding problems come with explanations that start with 3D graphics to help you understand the 3-dimensional structures tested in these problems and how they would translate into 2 dimensions. Our keyhole and top front end problems also include rotating animations that give you a more dynamic look at the object from all angles. For keyholes specifically, the graphics in the animation help you see how to visualize all the possible apertures for an object. So when you start a keyhole problem and see the object, make sure you start by practicing visualizing each of the possible apertures and then using these 3D models to see where you're making mistakes. For top front ends, the color-coordinated graphics help you see how the different views translate between each other and the object they're representing. Studying these graphics and the animations are really going to help your brain just get used to translating between these views and the 3D object more automatically. And then for pattern folding problems, the graphics help you see how these patterns come together to form an object. Remember especially that the patterns always fold into the page, sort of away from you. So the faces you see on the unfolded version, which we typically call the map, will always end up on the outside of the object. Studying these graphics will give you a better idea of how these faces fold together. That being said, while the 3D views are really helpful, we also always recommend that you study the correct answer and wrong answer analyses. These will teach you how to eliminate wrong answers and identify correct answers even if you can't fully visualize the entire object in your mind. This way you'll be able to solve these problems systematically, even for weird or tricky objects that would otherwise overwhelm you. You'll notice, for instance, for our pattern folding explanations, that it's possible to eliminate all the wrong answers and select the correct answer, even if you don't know precisely what the folded object is going to look like. And that's why we recommend studying each explanation in detail, so you can see just how easy these problems can be. Okay, let's talk about how to navigate our other types of explanations as well. For angle ranking problems, you want to pay attention to the unique methods we teach for analyzing and comparing angles. You'll notice that we have different methods for acute angles, obtuse angles, and angles that are very close to a right angle. And all these methods help you better visualize and compare different angles. And these are also covered in our angle ranking videos on our YouTube. Make sure you study and practice these techniques and see what works for you. Our explanations also teach you how to approach angle ranking questions systematically, eliminating wrong answers so that you can answer the question even if you don't know the exact right order of the angle sizes right away. Our hole punching explanations are unique in that they provide clear images to show you how the paper is folding and unfolding. These folding maps at the top show how many layers of paper are in each area, and they're most useful for students who find certain types of folds just confusing and it's hard to tell what's going on. Similarly, the unfolding steps down here, with intermediate steps between them, help clarify how the holes are translated across horizontal, vertical, and diagonal folds. These explanations will show you how to unfold any hole punching problem step by step and show you how to track where the holes are going. Be sure to use these graphics to pinpoint your own errors in systematically unfolding the folded paper. And lastly, our cube counting explanations are really helpful for teaching you how to analyze the structures by showing transparent versions of each structure as well as turned around versions. Be sure to study these structures and make sure that you're visualizing things correctly in your mind. As with all our question banks, our problems run the gamut of what you'll expect to see on the exam. We're very calculated and deliberate in packing in just the right amount of variety into our question banks, so don't forget to complete them in their entirety. While you're working through a question bank, you can always check your answers and review the explanations right there before even progressing to the next problem. We actually do recommend doing this as you go, because this is really part of the learning process. Our banks generally increase in difficulty as you work through them, and we set them up in such a way that you can practice and learn from our explanations, so that you'll be more ready for the next similar problem later on in the question bank, and right away get to apply what you learned. This will help you build your skills in a really natural and easy way. You can also always come back and review any problem and any explanation through our review screen after you've finished a question bank. We always recommend re-reviewing explanations for problems that you missed or were unsure of and marked during your assessment to make sure you're mastering all of the techniques. We recommend that you keep track of your performance data during and after completing the question banks. This page allows you to see how you're doing and compare your performance to other students across all question types. You can also see how you're performing in each individual question bank by level. And it shows you how much time you're spending on each type of problem. We recommend analyzing this data to see where your weakest areas are and where you're spending your most time. If you see that your performance is low on a particular question type or a specific question bank, we recommend repeating those question banks. For instance, it looks like angle ranking is my lowest performing area. I did particularly badly in level 2 and level 3. So I'll definitely want to repeat those banks and see if I can do a little better. Similarly, if you see that you're taking too much time on a particular type of problem, you'll also want to try repeating those banks and focus on answering the questions a little bit faster. Looking at my data, I can see that I'm taking too long on my top front end problems in particular. So I want to go back, redo those banks, and see if I can get my times down. These are the ways that you should be analyzing your data to help guide you towards which banks you should probably try and redo. It's important to note up here, if this All Attempts button is clicked, these graphics will average your results across all your attempts. If you've had multiple attempts at a particular question bank, you'll want to select Latest Attempts. That way this will only include the last attempt you did in each question bank. So be careful not to submit blank or incomplete attempts, because that'll really throw off your data. We recommend that you study in our question banks first, before you take any of our full-length PAT practice tests. This is because it's our question banks that are designed to guide you and teach you how to master each of the problem types on the PAT. That being said, it's important to use our full-length PATs to assess where you are in your studies and get some real accurate timed practice. We designed our full-length PATs to resemble the real ADA test as closely as possible. When you take your full lengths, make sure you stay in one place and find somewhere that you can do your exam in one sitting. This could be in the quiet of your own room, Or you may want to find a place like your school library, where you can sit in a cubicle area like this, because that's going to look a lot like your testing center where you're going to take your actual DAT. Also remember that you're going to have noise-canceling headphones with you on your test day, so you may want to bring something like that with you. We also recommend taking your full-length tests timed to better simulate the real exam. And keep your eye on that timer as you go, because you'll want to make sure you're on pace to complete your full exam. Remember that you have 60 minutes to complete 90 questions on the PAT. So that means you will have 10 minutes per PAT question type, and each question type has 15 problems in it. So we actually recommend you spend more like 9 minutes on each question type. So like 9 minutes on keyholes, 9 minutes on top front end, 9 minutes for angle ranking, etc., etc. That way you'll have some extra time at the end to go back and review any problems that you weren't sure of. We have performance data for our full-length PATs as well, which you'll definitely want to take advantage of. As you can see on this page, you can see your full-length PAT performance, both by percentage correct and by PAT score. And you can see how your scores relate to the scores of other users. Also, you definitely want to scroll down and look at this table at the bottom. This shows you how you're performing on each question type in the context of the full exam. This table shows you how many problems you're getting correct versus incorrect or omitted in each problem type, and it shows where you're spending most of your time. You can again use this data to figure out which question banks you should probably be repeating. Again, we recommend repeating question banks where you're performing the worst according to this table. Some students like to do this in between practice tests, and some like to do this after they've completed all the practice tests. In the context of taking a full version of the exam, I actually performed my worst on the cube counting problems. So I definitely want to add that to my list of question banks that I'm going to repeat to see if I can fine-tune my strategies and hopefully improve my results. We're also currently publishing a YouTube series on each and every problem type on the PAT, and you can find it on our YouTube channel, Erudition PAT. Be sure to check this channel regularly. We're always coming out with new videos. These videos are designed to cover all the strategies you'll need for a particular question type. So be sure to check out our videos anytime you're about to start a new set of question banks. Reach out to us at pathelp@eruditionprep.com with any questions you have, and good luck studying.